Alright, let's get to the bottom of this. The student wants to provide an overview of the Matsutake commodity chain. Alright, so I'm gonna pay special attention to the overview. So that means you cannot bog down too specific. Okay, we want to have a short summary, basically a short summary that covers the main topic. So let's start with line 1. A commodity chain is a series of links connecting the production and purchase of a commodity on the world market. So it starts with a definition, what commodity chain is. Okay, so connecting the production and purchase of commodity. Okay, that's the commodity chain. Chinese American anthropologist Anna Qing studies the contemporary commodity chain of Matsutake mushroom. So we are getting more specific. We start with something commodity chain, and now we qualify that to specific market of Matsutake mushroom. So this is a narrower topic in the commodity chain. At the end of the Matsutake chain are mushroom pickers in Oregon. Okay, so here is... Okay, so we have a market in Oregon. So I'm going to call it Market 1 in Oregon. At the end of... At the other end are wealthy consumers. Okay, so this is another market. So Market 2. But this time it's a consumer. So pickers, I would say, is more like a producer. And the consumers are, well, consumers, like you learn in biology, food web or food chain. So we got another market. So we have two markets that exist. So according to Xing, Japanese traders began importing Matsutake in the 1980s when the scarcity, which means the lack of Matsutake in Japan, first became clear. Okay, so when you have a commodity or anything that's scarce or that you don't see around much, then the price will go up. And looks like they found in the place in Oregon that can be produced, and these mushrooms in Oregon can satisfy the Japanese wealthy consumers. So we have this idea that two markets exist, and they and it shows a little bit of history since 1980s that basically this market was created due to the scarcity of Matsutake in Japan. So let's look at choice A. The contemporary Matsutake commodity chain has its origin in 1980s when, according to Jing, the scarcity of Matsutake in Japan first became clear. Okay, so it doesn't. This is not really overview. Okay, because when you just mention that, basically it's just bogged down the last line here, and it's totally ignoring the other aspects of like two markets that exist to satisfy. So A is not correct. Choice B, commodity chains include the link production and purchase commodities such as Matsutake mushroom on the world market. So we talk about like link production in line 1, I think. Yeah, purchase of commodities. Yeah, so we're going to the definition part. But and then they talk, and then it narrows down to Matsutake mushroom, but it's missing out the markets, the consumer and producer markets that arose from the scarcity of Matsutake from the 1980s. So we will not say this is overview. Choice C, decades after Japanese import of Matsutake began. So that's targeting in which line? The last line. So if you call it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this covers the line 5 that Japanese import, like decades after the Japanese import is like since the 1980s. A commodity chain now links Matsutake pickers in Oregon, line 3, with a wealthy consumer line for a costly mushroom in Japan. Okay, so far this is a choice that covers the most thing, which means that it's a good overview. But let's see if choice D is better. Wealthy consumers who buy the costly mushrooms in Japan are at one end of the matsutake commodity chain. If I have to pick the worst answer choice, D would be the worst because it only talks about line 4, and that can't be the overview of the matsutake commodity chain. So answer should be C for covering the most, and covering the most ideas presented by the student.